into tune with this one right here. We got Aystar, 4 brick. We got the 4 bricks with Aystar. Aystar just being into the 4 bricks. We got the bricks. That's with his whole to the four to the brick. So especially with Aystar. And Aystar coming around to this one right here, especially with Aystar, I haven't not heard it like any particular music. Like it's been a while since I actually tuned into one of his actually his tuning sounds and music and stuff like that too. And he's another good Austro artist because it just the 4 bricks, especially with the 4 bricks. But he's another archer's one because he be having some main one, especially with the 4 bricks. So I'm guessing this is one of his latest ones he actually just tuned in with. So this one right here and everything coming together, I'm guessing this is one of his main ones with the bricks to the star. And especially with his whole thing, his whole wished it and everything else, he got a whole brisket. So mainly from everything else too, and his whole like misses and briskets.
Yeah, that Scouse Massive shit, you already know what it is, you get me? Gang, let's get it. Yo. 4 bricks, 27 a pop, or you could pot some plants and end up with 27 from a crop.
Ooh, he said from pots on pots, and he's coming from the bricks to everything else too. Like, where you think it comes from? Like, where you think it comes from, and everything else too. Like the whole thing, like everything else that's just embraced with it. Like it's all just into tune with it. Like especially with the whole thing. But he said coming from the whole. Then he said the other pots and everything else. Like who would ever knew? Like
7 a pop, or you could pot some plants and end up with 27 from a crop. Do the maths, if the driver gets stopped with a box of that flake, then his door's coming off, what's the cost? A good few years in the bing for the flake, or a slap on the wrist for the crop. He'd be stupid not to do the crop, but he wants fast though, that's why he's picking up and dropping off top. 4 bricks, 27 a pop, or you could pot some plants and end up with 27 from.
oh, he said from pots on plans and everything else, and especially you coming from the whole thing too, like how it is and how everything else is just coming in from things too. He said from the crooks too, and he said coming from the crooks, and you got the whole thing, like you got society and everything else that's really taken into tune with that too. So it's like you got the whole thing just like some limits. This
Up with 27 from a crop, do the maths, if the driver gets stopped with a box of that flake, then his door's coming off, what's the cost?
ooh, he said what's the cost, and he said coming from the crooks is the crooks too, especially those people that be skied up and everything else that be coming into it. Like, but he said doors coming off, and that's what's the cost of everything trying to be what it really was like.
A good few years in the bing for the flake, or a slap on the wrist for the crop. Which one? He'd be stupid not to do the crop, but he wants fast though, that's why he's picking up and dropping off tops. Why he's picking up and dropping off tops. He don't wanna wait weeks on weeks. He's in a S3 with a box and he's ready to screech at the first sign of any police, there's no stopping. He's got a stash in the car, but that stash in the car's no good if they phone for the dogs. So it's a big risk if he stops, he ain't scared to take chances.
Ooh, especially he ain't scared to take chances and everything else too. Like he's gonna take his chances. He's gonna come. It comes with. He's gonna take those chances, whatever it comes with. Like especially, you know what they say. You know, you got something in the trunk that you know that ain't right. You might as well just keep on moving on society, like moving on and everything else too. Especially with the whole thing, because this one right here, you got to play it from the back to really get to know what's actually going on, like into tune with it, because it just plays into a part where it's like you see what's going on, you see what's not going on, and everything else just that just parts.
He's got a stash in the car, but that stash in the car's no good if they phone for the dogs. So it's a big risk if he stops, he ain't scared to take chase. True, he comes from the blocks, he's tried crops, he said it's too long, plus they're not guaranteed cause things always go wrong. He's on the M-way with his bitch and police boxed him in. Now he thinks this is long. Done the mad thing and screeched off, and now it's a pursuit. Better hope he gets away, cause if not he's got another 3 in the crib plus a Glock, and he's not trying to get meeched off. Reminiscing on the
Ooh, he's trying to get mixed up, especially from that. Like you ain't trying to get all this stuff into tune with it. You trying to have all this stuff being added up to the like they say. You got all these things that's going on. Especially as you got a whole thing. You got things to take care of and things, and now you getting thrown away. Like that's another thing that can really that can really hit. Like that can hit in a different spot too, especially from that. Like you got all these things going on too, and then everything just hits on one point. Like that can really just pervades everything.
in the crib plus a Glock, and he's not trying to get meeched off. Reminiscing on the mott. He's thinking about the talks that we had about the crops. The only problem is that his girlfriend's a fart and she's in love with that fast cash. She ain't trying to hear nothing about nothing. She'll do a fast dash if the money starts slowing up. When he first met, she seen quick that his phone's blowing up, and she knows the stack's going up. She be watching 4 bricks, 27 a pop. Or you could pot some plants and end up with 27 from a crop. Do the maths, if the driver gets stopped with a box of that flake, then his door's coming off. What's the cost? A good few years in the bing for the flake, or a slap on the wrist for the crop. He'd be stupid not to do the crop, but he wants fast though, that's why he's picking up and dropping off tops.
Ooh, this one right here, we had a wishing story to it. Like you coming into that, like everything else was being washed. Like you gotta just watch how you really move in society. Like especially when everything else is being what it was and everything else.
He'd be stupid not to do the crop, but he wants fast though, that's why he's picking up and dropping off tops. Which one are you? You like that fast cash? Or you like to work smart and not harder? I know which one I am.
Ooh, you got this one right here with Aystar, especially with the 4 bricks. Like he didn't put so much into tune with this one right here. Like this one, it had a whole thing to it. Like you had the whole thing. Like you had the how it started and how it ended. Like especially when you're coming from those ends to start the starter. So it's like, but everything else just being into tune with it, and it just feel like the person that was doing everything was just he was something else. Like he was something else. It was coming from another Auden story. So the whole thing, like especially from this one right here and everything else, but everything else being in tune with it, and this one really just taking first. It just came in through it, but it just definitely tuning with this right here. It's coming from this.